Cool. I think this is starting to work here. Hey, what's up, guys? You are live, 2 seconds in. Cheers. Let me cruise over here so I can see everyone's chat comments. I would be stoked if everyone that's joining in could go ahead and let me know, can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Drop me a message. Let me know that the stream is indeed working. And let me know the audio is always tricky with these. So if you can hear me with no echo or anything, make sure it's loud enough. Let me know. That would be super helpful. Let's see. I've got a little list of things to chat about. Cool. CH. Glad you can hear me. Glad you can see me. That's awesome. So, oi. Nicolo. Cool. Thanks for chiming in. What's up, guys? I think a few more folks will come in here. Awesome. Cool, Chad. Thanks for confirming that. Gavin, thank you. If you guys can hit the like button on this live feed, it'll pull it up a little higher in the logarithm, and we'll get some more folks to join in, and that would be super fun. So if you can, click that like button. That'd be great. Thank you, CH. I appreciate it. Hola, Vapor. ¿Cómo estás? Cool. We'll get going with this. Awesome. Thanks, Fabio. Did you guys see the Arkansas video? What'd you think? I hope you liked it. Oh, cool. Getting lots of comments here. This is great. Guys, if you can click that like button, it's super helpful. I'm really stoked on how that whole Arkansas project came out. Not just the video, but the photos, the whole write-up, everything. I wrote almost that entire article on the flight home from Arkansas. It was a direct flight, Arkansas to LA, and then 2 more flights to get home to Bellingham. But I was hustling that article, and then probably put only a couple hours into it afterwards, adding some quotes and fine-tuning it. So I'm happy with the article. Dennis's photos were great. That was cool. And then the video was super rewarding. It was cool to actually get to meet a whole bunch of people, ride with them, and kind of help tell the story a little bit. I really like that format, and myself and Colby actually did the editing for this. So Logan filmed it, but he's busy working on another video we did from Durango, Colorado, and we need to get this thing published. So I went ahead and did the rough cut, chatted with Colby a ton. He had a lot of great feedback on how we could better organize it, kept going at it, some good teamwork, and then a whole bunch of sleepless nights in the past week. Colby did a lot of cool fine tuning to it, and as a team, we knocked it out. So we're stoked on how the video looks and feels. Let's check out some comments here. Cool. What's up, Outsider? Glad you like those tires. What's up, Verinder? Cool, you guys did see it on Pinkbike. Awesome. Real quick, if I can ask you guys any favor whatsoever, even more important than hitting like on this little thing, if you're checking out the article on Pinkbike, there's a little button underneath the video that says add to favorites. Click that button. That'll really help me out a ton on Pinkbike. And I think there's room to grow on Pinkbike still in this day and age. So click the add to favorites button on Pinkbike. That would be awesome. Thank you. Cool. Oh man, cool. I'm stoked you guys like the video project so much. Like I said earlier, I was stoked to be there. I was stoked to be doing this whole project. So thank you. That's way cool. First off, I learned a ton on this project. I've been making videos for years, going to places and riding bikes for years, but what I really learned here is that in Bentonville, just the ideas and the big picture thinking was next level. When the people first were thinking about making us into a kind of a bike town, usually people start new things small, but it was very different in Bentonville. The immediate idea was to go huge. And there's many reasons why they're able to make that happen, but just having that initial vision of a town where you can get on single track right in the heart of downtown, that's amazing. I can think of many places I've been where there's like a trail by the river through downtown, and it's just like a 10-foot wide paved pedestrian walkway, and then there's like some plants and stuff. Might as well have a ripping single track right there where everyone in town can see mountain biking, and then as us riders, we can have a coffee at the proper coffee shop downtown, walking down from our hotel, and then we can ride trails out to the other trails. That's kind of next level. How many meccas actually have riding straight from downtown? It's not very many. It's cool if you can ride 2 trails from town, but it's hard to actually ride good trails from town. So I thought that was really cool. Also, check out a few comments here. What's up, George? What's up, Gustavo? What's up, Vladimir? So bigger picture than just having trails from the heart of town, which is huge. But the way they've organized the groups behind this, the advocacy groups, the promotional groups, the guys that build trails, it's all separate. Whereas like here in Bellingham, we have an amazing group, the WMBC, and they do a great job, but they have to do everything. In Bentonville, there's the Bike NWA, which is kind of one of the bigger advocacy groups, and they do a lot of actual city, like within city urban planning for bike routes, but they're also kind of the parent company over Oz Trails, and they organize the Bike Alliance. So then below the Bike NWA, or below or alongside, whatever you want to say, there's two more advocacy groups. You got OORC and FAST, both working specifically on the mountain bike trails areas themselves. There's other groups that deal with land access issues. I believe it's called a conservancy. I don't know all the details on that, but it's separate. And then promoting all this stuff is actually Oz Trails, which I think is a genius move. And then let's see, going on beyond that, there's so many more subgroups that are doing like bike rentals and skills clinics, but most of these groups have very specific and well-focused goals on what they're gonna do. They don't have to try and do everything and wear a ton of different hats. And by being that focused and specific, they do a really good job at what they're gonna do. I kind of think the secret sauce in organizing that is that Bike Alliance that gets everyone together. And it looks easy from the outside. I'm sure there's tons of challenges in making everything happen, but that big picture vision of multiple different groups that are very focused, that's really cool. And I've never seen that anywhere else. I think that the whole Oz Trails thing itself, promoting mountain biking in the region, that's genius. Having a bike advocacy group also having to work with like a tourism commission or whatever, that's just too much. It's too distracting. They need to be focused on what they're gonna do best. So I thought that was genius, and I'd love to apply that model to other places in the USA and in the rest of the world. I think it's really smart. Cool. Brian, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Jesse, if you were there for the IMBA Summit, we were there the same week. I was there, I think Gary was in his suit and kind of formal clothes on our second morning in Bentonville because he was going straight to the IMBA Summit to go meet with people. Then he was gonna ride with them, and Lopes was in tow with Gary and all that. So yeah, Outer Bike was the weekend after we were shooting. So we finished shooting on Friday, worried the trails would be crowded from Outer Bike, which they weren't, and then jammed out of there right as Outer Bike was really taking off. Pardon me. Oh man. I also think with the big picture thinking in Bentonville, like, so I first went to Little Rock, which is kind of the scene is just starting in Little Rock. I first knew there's riding in Little Rock because Competitive Cyclist began in Little Rock. And when I was working at IBIS, our president went out and visited Competitive a couple of times in Little Rock and came back saying good things about the riding scene. I don't know how much it's grown since like 2010 or whatnot, but now, seeing Bentonville explode in the last couple of years, I know that Paul and Melanie are getting super motivated, and the bigger decision makers in town are very aware that what can be had if the mountain bike scene grows. The other things that come along with that are all very positive for the community. When I was Googling Little Rock and biking, I actually found a video where the director of state parks for the state of Arkansas, known as the Natural State and has the most amount of state parks of any state in the US, the director of that, Grady Spann, is in a video standing on the top of Pinnacle Mountain in the state park talking about how cool Arkansas is, and he's on a mountain bike. It turns out he's a mountain biker himself. So that's super cool. I'm sure he's gonna see the video, and I hope he likes it. Oh man, that was super cool. I think the scene there is growing a ton, and I wanna see that happen in other places. From my other videos, you guys know that I wanna see mountain biking grow and not fade away. I wanna have more trails to ride, not fewer. And I want mountain biking to be a normal, regular activity, not some fringe thing. It needs to be around for a long time. I think it's a great thing and it's worth sharing. So seeing it grow in a place like Arkansas, that's awesome. Bike Steamboat. I'm trying to figure out the next step, but I would love, if my career here as a YouTuber, as a professional mountain biker, I would love to help grow the sport. That's basically what I'm all about. That's my mission. I don't want to just promote myself and my riding or whatever. Like, I want to be way more big picture than that. And so I'm definitely going to do all I can to help promote the advocacy groups and new trails and help expose this sport to more people and then make it cool to grow the sport. A lot of advocacy groups simply need more members and more support. I know in Little Rock, Central Arkansas Trail Alliance, Paul and Melanie's group only has like 118 members. So it would be really cool if we could do some pushing to help grow that advocacy group. Because if they go up to if they hit 1,000 members, they will have a much louder voice when they go to city council meetings and when they advocate for getting more mountain bike trails on legal state park property. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm all about. Blue Bomber, how did I end up at Jack Fork? So the next thing I want to talk about here is thank you to the guys in Little Rock. So when I was first planning this trip out, I was like, all right, I could either go and ride trails and make a video, and it'd probably be cool, or I could actually learn more about the scene and ride with some cool riders, which is definitely doable, but I was really keen on learning who advocates for these trails. I knew this is all very official stuff, so it should be easy to figure out who the presidents of the advocacy groups are, and I just Googled Little Rock Mountain Bike Trail Advocacy. CADA came up on the web, on the Google search right away, and I found President Paul Norris, shot him a Facebook message, and then I was able to actually call him a few minutes later through Facebook, and he was on vacation in Greece. And I just explained, like, Paul, I'm coming to Arkansas. I want to not just ride the trails, but do kind of a video that showcases who made these trails as best we can. I know we can't get all the trail builders involved, but I want to show who advocates for these trails and kind of who the faces are behind them. And I said, Paul, what's a cool trail, like a centerpiece trail that really shows off some successful advocacy work in Little Rock? And he suggested immediately the Jack Fork Trail. So that's how we ended up on the Jack Fork Trail. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. There's a bunch of comments coming in and my camera's a little off, so pardon me as I look back and forth. Sorry, I'm kind of sick right now. It's been a long week of no sleep trying to get all this stuff done. Mountain biking in SoCal is turning into golf in the corporate world. I don't understand your comment there, Ryan, but I haven't ridden a ton in SoCal. I have ridden a handful of spots and done some racing down there, and there's definitely a scene in SoCal. Very different than the scene up here or in Arkansas for that matter. What else are folks saying here? Thanks, Philip. Appreciate it. Eddie, indeed a dream job. I hope I can turn it into an actual legit job where I can afford to put a roof over my head. That's the goal one day. Thanks, Philip. Jesse, I will definitely keep this video up as long as I can. Oh, man. Yeah, outsider. So if Laguna bans mountain biking, that's because mountain bikers, in my opinion, need to be more organized with a louder voice than the haters. If the people that do this are louder than the haters, honestly, governments and stuff have to swing towards the majority most of the time. Sometimes they swing towards who has the money, which really sucks. That's what's happening in Marin County, for instance. And I would love to see that not happen. So if we can grow our organized numbers, supporting our advocacy groups, it's all we can do to save the sport in many places. Ryan MTB, thanks for explaining your comment there. Yeah, mountain biking's growing for sure. It's not massive yet. The overall mountain bike market has not really increased over the last 5-7 years or whatnot. The quality of the bikes has gotten way better, but we need to grow this thing. And I think the way to do it is, you know, definitely a strong NICA presence, but advocating for more trails. If we just have more trails, more access, more accessibility, it's more of a normal activity. Imagine if basketball courts were pump tracks. That would get a ton more kids stoked on bikes at an early age. And that in turn creates more of a riding community, and then that grows everything. So I'm all about that. Let's see. So I wanted to do a huge thank you to Paul and Melanie Norris with CADA, Central Arkansas Trail Alliance. And if you guys live anywhere near Little Rock, or if you just are feeling it, definitely check out their website and become a member. That's a tiny advocacy group, and they could use all the help they can get. So Central Arkansas Trail Alliance, thank you. Thanks to Paul and Melanie. I got to shoot some assets over to them in a few minutes so they can help promote this and have something to use on their own end to help grow their membership. And I've got more videos coming out to help promote their cause and also some of the stuff in Oz Trails. So you will see more content from this trip dribbled out slowly in my channel over the next few weeks. I need to buy a new computer right now, so bear with me as I'm struggling along with all this. I got a lot of footage I'm sifting through, so yeah, that's always fun. A few more comments are popping up here faster than I can read them, which is super cool. Thank you, Eddie. I need all the luck I can get. This is a hustle. Phil, I'm going to head to the UK at some point. I don't know if it's this spring or next year, but I want to ride with Ben Cathro. I want to ride some of these trail centers. I also want to go to Wales. I think that'd be really cool. So I hope to make it to your neighborhood at some point here. I want to ride with Lewis Buchanan too. I know he's a shredder. Um, Mobile DBX, I don't have any tips for managing the liabilities and whatnot, so I can't help you there, but feel free to reach out to the groups in Bentonville yourself and ask if they have any pointers on that. I think there's a lot of private land being used there, so I'm sure they have some cool tips on how to do that. It's probably something on the state level where if you could legislate something where if you get hurt on state property mountain biking, it's not considered an extreme activity or super risky or whatever. That can change the liability. I know something like that passed for the skate parks in California when I was a kid, and that immediately made it way easier to build a skate park in your town. So that's a situation where learn what they've done, see what kind of pointers they have, and I'm sure there's a way you can figure that out, and it's very doable. Let's see. Mason, it sounds like the trails are wet. I'm supposed to be filming on Galvey right now, but I'm inside drinking tea, hanging out with you guys, which is super fun. What else we got going on here? Jay, definitely, but I think a lot of these stores and such, what they should do, they don't really have the resources to go out and build trails. If they were to just donate to the local advocacy groups and help support the local advocacy groups and create that conversation, that will help. These advocacy groups need more members. So if you're buying a bike and the bike comes with a comped one-year membership for your local advocacy group, that would be an amazing way to grow the sport. It depends on where you're located too. Here in Washington, we got plenty of volunteers on our trail days. It's such a community around it, so that's not necessarily the hardest thing for us. Raising funds and getting official members for our clubs is the hardest part. So it depends where you're located with that. Sorry guys, I am a little bit under the weather, so bear with me as I'm coughing it up here. Luke, you're 14. This is a great time in life to be getting into mountain biking. When I was 14, I rode every time it rained because when it was dry out, I could hit the dirt jumps. That was a cool time. I missed those days. The Marin Trail in the UK in Wales. I will have to check that out. I want to give a huge thank you to the guys in Bentonville that helped me out. First up, I called the guys at Mojo Cycling. That's the Ibis dealer in Bentonville. And Dave has been in Bentonville for years. And he connected me to, well, he told me about and then connected me to Gary Vernon and Scott Schrain. And then I Googled both of them and I was like, holy cow, these guys are rad. They're super involved in the scene. So Gary Vernon is a program officer at the Walton Foundation focused on mountain bike trails and cycling activities. And that's basically his job, is to help grow the sport in Arkansas specifically. That's super cool. And hearing about that, I'm like, all right, cool, this guy's gotta be interesting. And then I heard he's a good rider. So I checked out his Instagram feed. I'm like, all right, this guy rips. And then getting to actually ride with him, you can kind of tell when someone's like hitting jumps and riding fine, or when they're like totally dialed, they're hitting all their braking points, they're picking good lines, they can actually do trialsy things. Gary is a really technically gifted rider. He's been riding for a long time now, not just mountain bikes, but BMX bikes, trials bikes, motorcycle, motocross, and moto trials. The guy is a very well-rounded rider, super nice guy too. So it was awesome getting to meet Gary, getting to ride with him. His skills blew me away. And then Scott Schrain is a super cool dude too. I think I actually spoke on the phone to Scott 10 years ago when I was working at Ibis and he was working at a shop in Texas. I'm 99% sure I chatted with him way back when, and here we are crossing paths again. Huge thank you to Scott. Scott is the director of Oz Trails. Hopefully it focuses and you can see. And his job is simply to promote mountain biking in Northwest Arkansas. It's the bottom of the Ozarks, hence the name Oz Trails. And it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz idea. There's not just one person doing all the work, it's everybody together. Sure, the wizards or whatever are in the background, but they're not the centerpiece of all this. It's everyone coming together. And Scott, he organized a ton of this. This wouldn't have been possible without Scott. So Scott got our 2 days that we had in Bentonville super well organized. He called in Richard Drew, Eric Smith, Garrett Hubbard, as well as Gary, of course, for our first day. And those dudes are shredders. Eric, born and raised in Arkansas. I thought he was a BMX shredder because he's hitting these jumps really well. Nope. Just a mountain biker. Born and raised in Arkansas. And then Rich Drew, I rode with his brother Rob in Arizona, who is super good. And then riding with Rich. Rich is also very talented. Rich actually quit his 9-to-5 corporate job, moved his family to Bentonville, and now just teaches mountain bike skills clinics and is a coach for Thaden School. So he left a boring, uptight commercial job, and now he's working in the mountain bike industry. I think that's super cool. As the sport grows, more people will have opportunities to do things like that, and in turn, that'll only help grow the sport as well. So that's really, really cool. Garrett Hubbard he's a visual storyteller. He uses photos and videos, has a whole media company of his own, and his business has grown. He went from almost nothing bicycle related to being like 25-30% of his work is from the bike world. So he's been really enjoying that. Well, from his interviews, it seemed like he's really enjoying that. I probably shouldn't speak on his behalf too much, but Garrett was a super nice guy, really good rider, and he is the organizer of Gravitas Racing. It's a IBA-sponsored enduro race team right there in Bentonville, and Eric is on that team as well. So that was way cool riding with all of them. They're super shredders. And then on the second day, we were in Bentonville, Scott Schrain organized a couple other really cool folks to show up. We had Candace Kozark. She's a special projects coordinator at Bike NWA. She moved to Arkansas like 2.5 years ago or something and has no plans on leaving. She wears many hats, and she was super busy. We filmed this in between the IMBA World Summit and the Outer Bike. Both activities she was super involved in, and so she was just way pinned, and she made time to come ride with us. She's a super good rider, hitting lots of jumps, and she was cool with being interviewed on camera. That was awesome. Thank you, Candace. Kyla Templeton, another super busy but super crucial character, made it down. Thank you, Kyla. Kyla had to make some kind of a sponsorship phone call on the side of the trail in between interviews in order to make this whole thing happen. So thanks to Kyla. It looks like Nika is alive and growing strong in Bentonville, which is way cool. And then Scott also got B Apple to come out here, and B had a really cool perspective. She was one of the people that opened the Press Room, which is a really nice like hamburger restaurant in downtown Bentonville. And she just opened up a second business called Hillfolk. It's like a textile and textile boutique teaching how to make cool textile and fabric goods. And she was able to come ride with us. Turns out her whole family mountain bikes together, and she's been stoked on the sport, feels very welcome, has lived in Bentonville, like, I don't remember exactly how long, but moved from New York to Bentonville and was stoked on the change. So thank you, B. Other folks we shredded with on that last day would have been Scott, Garrett. I'm probably forgetting a few folks, sorry. And then Dennis Kremenetsky played a huge part in this too. Got a few comments, we'll get back to it. Oh man, tons of comments, thank you guys. I mentioned this earlier, but if there's only one thing you can do to help me out with this video, go to pinkbike.com, click on the article about this, and click that add to favorites button right below the video on Pinkbike. That'll help get us a ton more traction on Pinkbike, and drop a comment about how much you like the video too. That would be awesome. Thanks in advance. Cool. So Dennis Kremenetsky. Dennis was born and raised in Siberia, and then his family moved to Rogers. It's like in the middle of it's close to Bentonville, in 2007, I want to say. Or maybe he left. I forget when he moved exactly, but he went to high school in Rogers, Arkansas. And he actually left after high school to go to Colorado because he wanted to live the mountain bike dream and do a ton of racing and work in the industry. And so he was in Colorado for a while and then headed out to Southern California. And I first met Dennis when he was working at the Bike Company, which is a big IBIS dealer down in Irvine, California. And then one day, Dennis called and he's like, I need to buy a bike. I have a new job. I'm working at Crank Brothers. So I met Dennis at Sea Otter a couple of times, got a couple bikes to him back in the day, and then he went from there. He worked at Fox Clothing for a while, and he also worked at Bell, the helmet company. So he's been quite present in the bike industry in California. And then he wanted to open up his mobile bike shop, Cycle OG. Super cool business. And for him to do that, it was way fewer obstacles in Arkansas and much more of a fresh market full of opportunities. So he decided it made more sense to move back to Arkansas and open his new business there. There's more opportunities, it's cheaper, it just makes more sense in Arkansas than in California. So he's back in Arkansas 10 years later, but this time, rather than leaving to chase the dream, he's moved back to chase the dream. That was super cool. And I thought Dennis took some cool photos too. So show Dennis some love. If you're in Bentonville, Cycle OGs on Instagram, he can come by and tune your bike up. Just tell him that this whole video sent you. That would be rad. Let's check out some of these comments here. Let's see. Got lots of love. Thanks, guys. Oh, cool. JD, thanks. I'll have to check that out. What else we got here? So, Fabio, I was thinking about going to Colombia for a video, and then when I found out the EWS was going to Colombia, I'm like, you know, there's going to be a lot of content coming from Colombia. I don't want to just be lost in the mix or whatever, but I would love to make it down to Colombia. I was working with a bunch of cool Colombian shops when I was at WTB, and I would love to go visit them in person and actually see where they're riding. So I would love to go to Colombia. I need to figure out when the timing is right. So one day I will make it. Let's see. Right on, Luke. Tabletops are the most dangerous jumps out there, in my opinions. I like step-ups for learning tricks, because then if you crash, you're not necessarily falling out of the sky before you hit the ground. Whereas tabletops, sometimes they'll try things that you think there's no big deal, no risk or whatever, and then you'll end up crashing, but then you got to still crash down to the ground, and it's going to hurt a lot. So, but that's awesome. You built a sweet jump. Way cool. Kenny, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Let's see. Jason, I've never ridden in New England. I saw that feature of Peter Ostrowski the other day, and I got super pumped on heading out there. Those trails looked amazing. I've got lots of comments over the years from New England area riders. I definitely want to make it up there. At some point, I need to do it. I was going to head to New Jersey this fall to ride with Bike Shop up there, but with the shoulder injury back in June, everything got pushed back a bit, and I simply was not able to make it happen. I definitely want to do it, though, and I will be out there. Stay tuned. And Jason, you're in Vermont, I take it? Let me know exactly. An old filmer, Elliot, who I did the Tahoe video with, he's from Vermont and says lots of good things about it, and many folks talk about Vermont trails. Eddie, thank you. Daily MTB rider in the house. What's up, Josh? How's it going? Oh, it feels like a Friday. I guess it's a Wednesday, but Josh, we need to finally do a collab, or a bunch of them. Hopefully soon. I got a few things changing on my end, so hopefully we can make it happen. Ricky, thanks for the love. Appreciate it. Ryan, I have no plans to come back to SoCal in the immediate future, but you never know. It gets really nice down there when it's really cold and wet, or frozen up here, so I'll be back at some point. Actually, that's not true. I'm heading to San Diego in a couple of weeks, but I'm all booked up for work stuff. I don't have any time to actually get out and shred. Not when it would be daylight, at least. I don't really want a night ride when I'm out of state. That's a little sketchy. So, at some point. Ricky, greetings from the Galilee indeed. Have a good one. Thanks, Ricky. JD, I don't remember the names of all the trail systems. My favorite was the Wonderland Trail. Wonderland just had cool jumps, cool berms. I like that dirt, and I could trust it a little bit more. It rained on us, and so even Wonderland 2, I was a little sketched out, but those lips that are made out of rocks, I got really nervous about washing out from like pushing into those to try and boost the jumps, or trying to like turn and scrub them. I got really worried I was gonna wash the front tire out and then crash into more rocks. So Wonderland was really cool, but I'd love to ride more. We just did a little bit in Slaughterhouse, I guess you could say, and Kohler, and then Wonderland. So yeah, next time I really want to ride Fitzgerald, and I also want to ride the the Lake Leatherwood downhill trails. Definitely a ton we didn't get to ride on this trip. Josh, I don't think anyone's gonna make any money, but we definitely need to ride and film together. I want to make it happen. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Phil, thanks for the trail suggestions. I'll definitely make it out to Scotland at some point. Let's see. Jason, you're in Massachusetts. Cool. I want to make it out there. That would be rad. Okay, Vermont and all over New England. ton of bike parts. I've never ridden Highland, and I hear a lot about Highland. Something about a Pinkbike drop. It's real gnarly, so we'll have to get out there and send it. That'd be cool. Jonathan, I would love to make it out to Moab. Colorado, I have a video from Colorado coming out soon. You'll have to stay tuned for that. So maybe this winter I'll be able to make it back to the Southwest. I think Arizona will happen before Moab, just because the weather's a little bit even more mild in Arizona. But I haven't ridden Moab in like 11 years. I haven't ridden really any of the new stuff. So I would love to get to Moab. I got to give Kyle Mears a call and get out and shred with him. It'll be sweet. What else we got here? Cool. What's up, Ahana BC? Cool, guys. Well, sweet. I gotta kind of wrap this up. I got a few things to take care of. So once again, thank you all for watching my video, checking out the article on Pinkbike. If you can, go to Pinkbike and click that Add to Favorites button. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the support. You guys are great. It's been fun hanging out. Hopefully we can do more of these in the near future. Thank you guys. This has been an awesome time, and thanks for watching the video. Cheers. And we're out.